All right, guys, welcome to another adventure. Today we are here in Tulia, Texas, which sits along the Tule Creek, and that's going to play a very significant part in today's story. We're actually here to talk about these massive arrows that dot the Texas Panhandle. They signify the areas where Quanah Parker, the last Comanche chief that was captured by Colonel Randall Mackenzie in the late 1800s. We're going to talk more about that later as we talk about all these arrows. Obviously, I can't get to all of them, but we're going to get to a few of them today. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get on to our adventure. Our journey along the Quanah Parker Trail begins here in Mackenzie Park in Tulia, Texas. The first giant arrow stands watch over Tule Creek, a vital resource for countless generations. The inscription reads, "Comanche and other Indian tribes camped and hunted along the Tule Creek." It's easy to imagine this landscape alive with movement. Families setting up camp, hunters preparing for the day, and the creek providing the water that made life here possible. Just a short drive through town brings us to Quanah Park. Home of arrow number 2. This marker highlights a treasure trove found at the Swisher County Museum. It reads, "Quanah Parker's peyote blanket and other Indian artifacts are part of the Swisher County Museum's collection." These artifacts provide a direct physical connection to the Comanche people, especially to Quanah Parker himself, one of the most iconic leaders of the Southern Plains. Our third arrow stands proudly near the Tulia Public Golf Course. Long before fairways and greens, this area was a hub of natural resources. The marker reads, "Comanche and other Indian tribes camped near natural springs to the east and nearby playa lakes." In this region, water meant everything. These nearby springs and lakes sustained families, horses, and hunters for generations. The land may look quiet today, but it once supported thriving seasonal camps. 12 miles east of Tulia sits one of the most significant stops on the Quanah Parker Trail. A nearby historical marker recalls a tragic moment from the Red River War of 1874. 2 miles north of here, Randall S. Mackenzie, 4th U.S. Calvary, ordered shot the 1,450 horses captured from the Indians in the Battle of Paladero Canyon. The arrow's inscription reflects the deep impact this event had. Quanah Parker never forgot that nearby on September 28th and 29th, 1874, the U.S. Army shot 1,048 Indian horses. For the Comanche people, horses were far more than transportation. They were freedom, identity, and survival. This site marks one of the most heartbreaking losses in the tribe's history. All right, guys, we're going to take an intermission break right here at this moment to share with you even more of my passions when it comes to adventures. And so this correlates directly to what we're talking about in this video, and that is these different arrows that were put out to signify the life and the history of the Comanches in this area of Texas. And it spans the entire Panhandle. And I mean, truly, the Comanches were all the way through the Midwest, all the way down South Texas, all the way up through Kansas to South Dakota even. And so the reason I want to share this with you is because, this whole channel is nothing more than sharing my adventures with you guys. And there's no bigger adventure in my life that I have a lot more passion about than what I'm about to speak to. And that is the Comanches in this area. There's a great book right here that I want to share with you. It's called Empire of the Summer Moon. It is a true heart-stopping, riveting history of the Comanches, and it talks specifically about Quanah Parker and all these battles that these arrows are signifying. And I can't encourage you highly enough to take this book if you're interested in Native American history and the true stories, the stuff they didn't teach you in school, the horrific nastiness that went on with these tribes and these Indians. Great read. There's another one right here, On the Border with Mackenzie. This is a person that was with Mackenzie. And it shows his travels and stories that were kind of compiled, that were kind of memoirs and diary entries and things like that were kind of compiled together in this area that kind of goes along with this as well. There's another book here also that's called The Red River Wars. And this is all about the last stand of the Comanches in this area. And right here beside me is a curio cabinet full of different things that I've found metal detecting over the years. If you didn't catch my previous metal detecting video, I'll link it, whichever side is right here on my full version video, to let you see the metal detecting video I just put out. It has nothing to do with this particular thing. It just happens to be a recent metal detecting video I did on an older school in this area. But let's talk more about what's in this case right here that I'm about to share with you. So I had the opportunity from landowners to go and metal detect some of these areas we're talking about in this video right now, and I have some artifacts that are directly related to the Quitaque band or the Comanches themselves and Colonel Mackenzie. So let's show you a little bit about what's in this case, and then I'll kind of put them out on a table and let you see them. So let's go ahead and take a look first of all at a few items. So I'm going to grab these out of the case, and let's see what else. This little guy right here, I'm going to talk about it, and this little guy right here, right there, we'll talk about it as well. And then I'll kind of just show you an overview of the case and let you kind of see some of the things. If you want me to do a video on some of these items, if this interests you, throw me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll be happy to dive into some of these crazy finds that I have inside of this case. But let's talk more about this particular story about Quanah Parker and the raids and the different things that went on and these artifacts I'm holding in my hand. All right, guys, so we'll start off with this little guy right here. So this one right here was actually my first find from the 4th Calvary. This was on a landowner who gave me permission to just kind of hunt the creek area outside of Silverton, Texas. And this is where it was found that the actual skirmish or battle in the area outside of Silverton occurred between the Comanches and the 4th Cavalry of Mackenzie. So this is a unfired bullet. What's really cool is this patina right here. This is really takes a long time for this to happen. The gunpowder inside the casing, it starts to degrade and ends up corroding the outside brass right here. This is the little blue stuff you see right here. So this was pretty cool. This was found on the edge of the canyon. This is a concho. So this would have been, and it may be silver, I'm not too sure of the metal that's on it, but you can see on the back side it's got this little piece of metal. So this would have attached to like the horse's bridle. It could have been on one of the Indian headdresses. It could have been, it's a decorative piece that obviously was used by the Comanches to decorate either their costumes, their everyday wear. Could have been on a gun pouch. It could have been on all sorts of things. So this is definitely related to the Comanches. And then really these two finds right here, this is pretty cool. So these guys right here are found in close proximity. So this is another unfired bullet. I can't recall the caliber on these bullets right here. I'm sorry if you guys know that here in the comments, feel free to share that with me. But this right here is my favorite find of all time. You see the C inside of this. This is actually a Calvary button from one of the blue coats of their official dress. And so when you see those really blue coats, I'll show you one here on the picture on the book right here. So this is what's really kind of cool. This was found just a few inches in the ground. This was at the actual supply camp from Mackenzie's group, and this was in Crosbyton, Texas. I had permission from another metal detectorist that let me come with him and do some metal detecting, and then this unfired bullet was also found there. So just really cool to come across these items, but let's go ahead and come over into here. And so here are some old horse and nails for horseshoes and things that were found. And these little pieces of scrap metal probably wouldn't mean anything to anybody else, but these were actually the types of metal that would have been holding the barrels onto the rifles that they were using, and other types of aspects about it. Here's another little horse nail. This was a fired bullet that was found in an area close to this, I believe it was, and it also relates back to the war. So let's go back to these books real quick. I'll show you this button right here, that button right there, and kind of get it turned around for you with the eagle and the C in the middle. Check this out. So you see those buttons on his jacket? This is on the border with Mackenzie. This is a really good image to show you where those buttons would have been on the uniform. So again, this is a great book if you're interested in the history of the Comanches and how this wartime thing came about. Of course, my biggest recommendation is The Empire of the Summer Moon. an awesome read. A truly gruesome history of the capture of Cynthia Ann Parker, which was Quanah Parker's mother, and she was captured at a young age. Became basically she was a mother of him. She married his dad, and they had Quanah Parker and I believe another son, if I remember correctly. I have to go back and refresh my memory on some of that, but oh my gosh, this is a riveting book if you're into the history. And of course, Red River Wars. This has all sorts of artifacts and things in here. In fact, that concho that I showed you just a minute ago, this little guy right there, is actually pictured in this book. So if you go through here, you can see some of the artifacts and things. You can kind of see the maps that lay out things. But here we go. It's just these are great things. So let's get back to the video. Thanks for watching.
30 miles east of Tulia on Highway 86, we arrive in Silverton, home of arrow number 5. Its inscription reads, Comanches and their allies skirmished with Colonel Ronald S. Mackenzie's 4th Cavalry west of Silverton, September 26 through 27, 1874. It was here, in the rolling plains just outside of town, that tensions escalated in the days leading up to the decisive Battle of Paldera Canyon. Every arrow we encounter adds another piece to this larger story. 12 miles further east, we climb onto the Cap Rock, where arrow number 6 overlooks the vast landscape all the way to the horizon. This marker honors the skills and knowledge of the Comanche guides who led early explorers through its rugged country. The inscription reads, Comanche guides led early explorers Pedro Valle, Jose Moraz, and Francisco Armagal through this area 1787 to 1808. Long before highways and GPS, it was the indigenous expertise that shaped the earliest routes across the Southwest. Our final stop brings us to Quitaque, on the eastern edge of the Cap Rock. Arrow number 7. It marks a significant part of the Comanche trade history. The inscription reads, Comanches traded with Comancheros southwest in the Valley of Tears, between Los Lingos and Cottonwood Creeks. This was a vibrant trade corridor, connecting cultures and goods across vast distances. For the Comanche people, commerce here shaped alliances, relationships, and survival. If today's journey inspires your own adventure, check out the Quanah Parker Trail website. The map showcases dozens of arrows located across the Texas Panhandle, each one marking a site tied to the Comanche heritage, frontier history, or life of Quanah Parker himself. Whether you're a road tripper, a history buff, or just someone searching for new destinations, this trail offers countless opportunities for exploration. Thanks for traveling with me today through 7 powerful chapters of the Quanah Parker Trail. These arrows stand not only as markers, but as reminders of cultures, battles, landscapes, and stories that shape the Texas Panhandle. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next adventure. Until then, happy travels.